Yo, Philly 254 living life. Back at it. So we have yet another review, a controller review for the Steam Deck, the 8BitDo Ultimate 2.4G wireless controller. So, what comes in the box? Well, this is the outside of the box. It's a sleeve or whatnot, because I've already unboxed it. So here we go. What comes in the box? You have the controller itself. It's a little docking station, and of course, the charger cord, USB-C. So pretty simple. We'll start with the docking station. You plug it in, just like so in the back. You plug this into wherever you're gonna charge it at. You're good to go. All right. So inside the dock, on the bottom of the docking station, comes the wireless part. You got the little dongle, the little wireless dongle. There you go. Pretty simple, huh? Pretty simple. The controller itself, nothing too crazy with it. Has your standard buttons. Everything feels nice and snappy. The D-pad feels good. Analog sticks. The X, Y, and A buttons feel nice. They go in, pop out. Feels nice and snappy. Has your little buttons right here. Your RB and RT, LB and LT, and then even has a little couple extra paddles on the back. On the also on the back, it has a D and an X switch that will become important here shortly. And if just like pretty much, I guess most of their controllers, they have the ability to use the Ultimate software to switch profiles and whatnot. With the Ultimate software, you can change different things around with it, such as the actual button configurations or whatnot. You can make the X be a Y button, that kind of thing, whatever you want to do. So, pros and cons. Pros, like I just mentioned, feels great in the hand, nice and sizable. Everything works just fine. All the buttons feel real good and snappy. You can rearrange buttons how you want to via the Ultimate software, so everything was perfect. Cons, out the box. If you notice I never said this, it is not Bluetooth. It's straight up 2.4G wireless. You need the dongle. But notice I just said out the box. Because if you go to the website, which I'll link it in the description, you can actually download their firmware update software, update the firmware to make it Bluetooth. Bam. Now you got a Bluetooth and 2.4G. I've actually never used this function. I'm not a big fan of it. Didn't like the extra dongle or whatnot, but I did update the software. It's real simple. It's if you did the Stadia Bluetooth software update, it's almost the exact same thing. Just get on the PC, download their software, the firmware software. Once you do that, you plug your controller into the PC. It's using this little cable here. The cable that actually comes with it. It will detect the controller, update the firmware, and you're in there like swimwear. It even gives you quick little instructions on how to actually activate Bluetooth mode, which is real simple. I'm gonna tell you real quick. All you really have to do is make sure, remember that switch I mentioned earlier, the D and X, make sure it's in a D mode, which I had to work with because I forgot, I didn't pay attention. Make sure it's in D mode because I think by default it comes in X. Once it's in D mode, just hold down the little center button here, starts blinking, goes into parent mode. Look for it on your device, your Steam Deck, or I don't know, Steam Deck, your phone, whatever. You'll see it, connect it, you're in there. Just that simple. So let's make a quick comparison. Because I did also, if you've seen the review, purchase the 8BitDo Ultimate Bluetooth controller. Let's move this out the way. Other than a color scheme that look very similar, the biggest difference being the X, Y, B, A buttons are basically reversed order. Now, again, just like with this particular one, you can go into the Ultimate software, assign a profile to it, and just reassign those buttons to be whatever you want them to be, and it'll carry over into whatever game you want to play. So again, if you use this is more out the gate, looks like it's more built for a Switch, straight up. This one is more your universal Xbox, whatever you might be used to playing on, I guess. Control scheme. But again, you can just go in there into Ultimate software and you rearrange this to be exactly the same thing. The only difference being, again, If you need to look down at your button schemes, you might get a little confused. But other than that, it is what it is. It's actually pretty much the exact same thing, except the only difference being since this one was actually built to be Bluetooth, it actually has a Bluetooth pairing mode already, or pairing button already on it. This one does not, because this was not built to be Bluetooth out the gate. It had to have a firmware update similar to the Stadia controller. Price wise, I believe they're similar. I had to look up this one. I might flash it on the screen because I'm not sure how much this was, but this one definitely is $49. Is it worth the $49? Well, if you've already purchased this one, like I already did, I wouldn't say buy this one. Just use the software, and well, if you need the software, if the buttons are a problem for you, just use the software and make the buttons do whatever you want to do. Color scheme wise, I just chose a different color scheme so I just wouldn't have two black controllers. I tend to like just black controllers, but whatever. That may be the old Xbox in me, but you can get whatever color scheme you want. They offer multiple colors on there: blue, red, white, black, whatever. But other than the actual button layout, they're basically identical. The only change being, in order to be Bluetooth on this controller, you need to update its firmware, one-time thing, then you're in there. In order for the buttons layouts, if you want to change the button layout to match more of what you see on your Xbox controller, you have to use the Ultimate software and change the button layouts there, sign it to a profile, and then you're in there like swimwear. I know some of my previous reviews for this one, a lot of people pointed out, man, you can just change the button software. I know that, man. I know. But that's like, I don't know, man. That's like a hassle. That was just a hassle. I just wanted out the gate. I thought it was weird that the Bluetooth, they offered a Bluetooth controller in its form factor, but it's more tailored towards like a Switch user. And the one that's actually in the correct form factor, when I say form factor with the XYBA buttons, it wasn't Bluetooth out the gate. It took a firmware update. I don't know how long it took them to get the firmware update or whatever pushed out or created for people to change it. But I didn't buy the controller straight out as soon as it was released or nothing. But it's good that it's here now for anyone getting them now. What I recommend is a buy or pass. Well, again, if you have this one, I just pass. I'll be honest with you. Just change the button layout on the firmware. On the Ultimate software. But if you don't have either, I'd say definitely go with this one. Buttons look good. Buttons feel good. You don't have to change the button layout. It's a quick little update to make it Bluetooth, and then you're in there like swimwear. Why not? Again, $49.99. I put the link to both the actual 8BitDo site to update the firmware, download the firmware, and update it in the description, as well as the link to the Amazon the actual Amazon link to purchase the controller if you want to do that. And as always, you want more Steam Deck news, walkthroughs, gameplay, lives, reviews, like and subscribe. Cruise through the playlist. And I'm out.